I think the Stormy Cromer would be better for today because they don't call it the heater for nothing. 38 degrees out, and the weather is about to change. 2 days ago, we had a nice little dusting of snow. Ended up with 40-degree weather the following day. Kind of hoping that the snow would stick around so that I could do some tracking, but that's not going to work out. It's supposed to rain this afternoon, and then it's supposed to snow. We're supposed to get like 3 to 5 inches. And the thing is, hunting in the snow is awesome because you can track very well, but I'm a skier, and if there's snow on the ground, guess what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be skiing. Alright, I'm going to get my shit together here, and I'll see you in the woods. I'm going to pass on walking across the field. The wind's starting to kick up because the weather is about to change. It's January, and this is the time of the year that black bear go into labor. Sow black bear. And so I just have to keep an eye out. Never had an issue before, but I have skied up in the mountains around this time of the year, and you will see fresh footprints where they crossed over the trail because they don't really go into hibernation. I can't remember. It begins with a T, I believe. If I find it when I'm editing, I'll put it on the screen. It's like a semi-hibernation. So when the labor pains start, they wake right up, and they're ornery. And that's the most dangerous bear in the forest. So I'm just looking for poop of any kind, tracks of any kind, hair, feathers, and I'm not seeing a whole lot. So I'm just going to keep on, and eventually I'm going to swing around through the fields. Oh, there we go. Okay. The disturbance back there probably had something to do with that constipated bear. The reason I say constipated is because it's not little pebbles. Usually when you see it like that, sometimes it even looks like a dog poop. Sometimes it even looks like a human poop when it's kind of solid and long, and that means that they're not getting enough moisture and everything is frozen. So I could see where that would happen. Looks like there's been an awful lot of traffic in here. See there? Something's been through, maybe a skunk, but definitely the deer have been through because we saw perfect signage of that. So I'm just gonna head out, walk around the edges. I'm gonna go into the hardwoods where I have my beech leaf field project, and see how the trees are doing in there. Oh, my gun is not loaded. That's why I'm hiking over this, climbing over this tree with the gun on my shoulder, because it's empty. You don't want to get into any trouble doing that if you're going to climb over something like that with your gun. Make sure it's off your shoulder and in your hand in case you trip and fall and you have to throw it away from you, because you don't want to fall on that gun. You never know what's going to happen. Got to be careful. Actually, you do know what's going to happen as long as you pay attention. Hey, so check this out. See that at the base of that tree? That's a lot of squirrel activity. Or it could be mice, not chipmunk, because they're hibernating. And then as you look up, ta-da! It's a summer nest. So that means there's some squirrels around somewhere. A number of years ago, that was a great place to turkey hunt. I was with a friend who had never hunted before, and he wanted to come along with me, and he was all excited, and we're out in the dark, and he's like, yeah, this is cool, this is cool. So I hear a turkey way off in that direction, and so I used my call box, and he came in, and we're sitting there, and I told him, don't move. So he gets all excited, and he wants to see, which is a normal reaction, right? But when you're hunting, you know, I kept telling him, stay low, don't move, don't move. And he moved just the tiniest bit, and there was a big enough stick underneath him that when he leaned on it, his weight fell on it, it cracked, and the hunt was over. It was really frustrating for me because later he said, you know, you should go on YouTube and watch videos about hunting so you can learn. It's like, I don't talk to that person too much anymore. It was a great place to haul up. You know, you could pile the leaves up in there, and you could look out in all directions. I mean, it was almost like a little fort. You could dig a hole under there in between the logs and get a little bit lower. It was nice. It was real nice. Well, I had ye old Samsung camera running, but it didn't pick anything up. So I'm in my beech plot right now. So let me show it to you. I've shown it to you before. I'll put a card up that explains it. And I just want to check it in the winter because usually I'm here in September to do my report. So I'm standing in the center of the plot right now, and it's a 37.5-foot circle radius around me that I measure out, and within that circle I report all of the adult trees, like these two beauties right here. And let me point out the beech to you. We've got a beautiful beech right there with a couple of saplings, and the leaves are still on. That's something to think about if you're out winter camping. That's a good fire starter. Even if it's a little bit wet, you can put it in your pocket and you can still burn it. Now, over that way, that's not part of my plot, but that's a really good sign because those beech trees did really well. That's what I call a nursery. A bunch of smaller ones way off there in the distance, and they're thriving. We've got two more beech up here with a bunch of saplings. That's within the plot. And we've got another one right here with 3-4 saplings around it, and it's doing pretty darn good. So those are the adult trees within the 37.5-foot radius. And then within that, I do an 11.5-foot radius where I count all the saplings. And that's all these little ones around. There's a lot of elm in here. A couple of birches, black birches, but not too many. And then from there, I go out to the north, the east, the south, and the west. And I do a 3.5-foot circle at those points, and I count all the seedlings. So the first year I did this was 20. Leaf disease is here, but it wasn't terrible. So it was a pretty good report out of the other 3 that we had picked throughout the Hudson Valley area. Since then, it has not changed. It's stayed the same, which is great news. And it's even be that these leaves had done fine. In fact, let's take a close look at those. Ow, Jesus! I cannot stand prickers. You know, when I came in here in September, I came in with some cutting shears because I wanted to get some of these out of here. They're just a pain in the butt to work with. Okay, so if you look at this, you see where the blackness is on there? This is a better example. There's some black there between the veins. That's the beech leaf disease. But these were still healthy enough to survive. And this, oh, this came down off the bigger tree. Okay, that's a done branch then. That's firewood right there. But yeah, this one came right down. Probably because some of these other bigger ones had come down in all the wind that we've had. This is a good sign. This is a beech sapling. And let's see. There is a bud right there. Now, that's what the nematode, the very mysterious nematode that nobody can seem to identify, is infecting. And they're not sure what time of the year it's happening. There might be more recent research on that. Maybe they have figured it out. But it seems to be going after the buds. And then, in some cases that I've seen, it's decimated entire groves. There was one up in Ulster County, just north of me. Giant beech grove, dead. The whole thing, hundreds and hundreds of trees. But this one, as little as it is, seems to be doing quite well, and I'm really proud of it. The second year that I did this, we had a drought, and a lot of the seedlings had died, unfortunately. And the saplings seemed to do just fine, which is good. Now, last year when I came in September, it was the opposite. Everything was thriving again. The invasive species like this multiflora was starting to thrive. So that's why I started cutting it back, because you know you can't work when you're tied up in these things. And I'm not ripping an arm off another jacket for it. So we're gonna take. We already looked at the leaves. We're gonna take a good look at the trunk of the tree, and what we're looking for is Nectera, which is beech bark disease, and that's not something new. That's been around for a very, very long time. It's never really affected the beech tree population, not like the BLD has. Now I'm trying to, there's a little white spot right there. I'm not sure if you can see it. Let me see if zooming in will help at all. It might make matters worse. Oh, there it is, right there. See it? See the white spot? That's the Nectera that causes the beech bark disease. And it's, like I said, it's not inconsequential to the tree, doesn't hurt it. But what it does do is it creates fissures, like stuff like that. But this tree and this one here too, that's from the Nectera. It doesn't harm the tree. As you can see, it's done very, very well. Some of them look terrible, but this group of beech, this grove of beech, is doing really, really well. I mean, it doesn't even look sick. So I'm really proud of it. And I call this the invisible beech plot because of the public land that it's on. And unfortunately, though, it looks like the DEC dropped the program because they're the ones who started it. But we're keeping it going because we want to keep an eye on this sort of thing. Besides, it's an accumulation of hours, and that always helps with the money aspect. It's a perfect example of what the Nectera does with the, oh, somebody's here shooting off a gun somewhere. He's kind of close. I might want to move. Or it could have been a backfire. Can never be too sure. Okay, so real quick, that's what the Nectera does to the tree. Makes it look like elephant skin. All right, looks like there's some activity going on over there. I might want to move. I might want to change my spot, because it kind of sounds to me like somebody walked down from the main parking lot, which you can do this time of the year. And when that happens, that means you can't keep track of them like you do in the fall and the early winter when everybody has to park at a designated spot. So I've got my blaze on, but still, you never know. Let's go over. I'm gonna make my way back. Nothing's happening. I'm just checking out the trees. So and the rain's coming. I can smell it. It's getting close. Hear the wind. Front's coming in. Then it's going to be really cold after it snows. It's going to be like down to 7 and maybe the teens during the day. We haven't had winters like this in New York for a long, long time. It's actually kind of nice. So cheers to the nice winter weather. And this hot chocolate, by the way, made from scratch. It's cocoa, a little bit of sugar. Heat the milk up. I think I overheated it a little bit. I use a candy thermometer, a little glass one that I clip to the side of the pan. And you mix it up, and that's good. Swiss Miss is good, but once you make your own at home, you'll never go back. Homemade is awesome. Since I'm not hunting any squirrel, I'm not even sure what the hell to title this video now. I'm getting tired of walking into the woods with a cold gun and walking back out with a cold gun. But, what are you gonna do? It's state land. It's tough, man. It's tough. It's tougher than I've ever seen it before. But, it's gonna go through cycles, and like I've been harping on it, 2020 didn't help any. What are you gonna do? Okay, take two. Now I gotta get my glasses out. I hate wearing these stupid things. You know, eye bright does help. I keep seeing eye bright lately. It's a little plant, and if you make a poultice out of it, it can help with your eyes and help with blurriness and help strengthen the eye. I've never used it, but I've known about it for years. And you know, carrots will help. Pistachio has protein that helps. And what else is there? Oh, vitamin E. Vitamin E is a big deal. You can get that in the form of sunflower seeds, or you could buy a really, really good supplement. Okay, so let's take a look at these bad boys. And we have beech leaf disease. Do you see the darkness that's on there? But there's not a lot, which is good. Now, that's the mysterious nematode. And they believe that, like I said before, it's coming in through the bud right there. And this has a lot of healthy buds on it. I mean, it's not, doesn't look like it's suffering at all. This is a good looking tree right here. It could be the reason why this beech plot is so, here's one, is doing well is because nobody really comes through here. I haven't heard a gunshot since the last time that went off. Who knows what that was all about. You can see all the lenticels on the bark. Those are actually how the tree breeds. Pretty interesting, huh? They're like little mouths. The reason I didn't pick any of these other areas for the center of the beech plot is because according to the criteria, there has to be a good mixture of hardwoods. And this has somewhat of a mixture of hardwoods, but not to the variety that was required. So that's why this is not the plot. And the other area that I just came from over there is the plot, because it has a better mixture. There are hickories, and there's ashes in there, and there are also oaks, two different types of oaks, white and red. Here's another example of doormat for squirrel activity. You see, all of a sudden there's like a line in the sand, right? See that? And then there's nothing. And that's usually, sometimes the wind will do that, but typically that's squirrel activity. And I'm not seeing any more blue marks. Oh, yes, I do. There's one right there. Both sides of the tree. Interesting, huh? Public land. You never know what people are up to. Okay, I just want to come over here to look down the hill. See if I see any movement. Wind is picking up. I don't see any summer nests. Oh, yes, I do. I see one up there. So it might be worth it to go sit on that fallen tree for a little while. Have some hot chocolate and listen to the woods. I don't mind getting wet, but I don't like it when my gun gets wet, and my gun doesn't like getting wet either. And still no movement. There's another mark. I gotta wonder if this is a biological research project that's going on, because it's kind of scattered. It's not all the same trees. They're all different. This one has blue all over it. Let's see if there's anything on the other side. Ah, these prickers. God, how I hate these things. Yep, there's some here too. So, I don't know. And then there's more over there. There's like a whole slash on the tree. Usually blue paint marks on trees indicate someone trespassing and they're like commandeering someone's private land, but this is public. It's public land. So not unless somebody was using this as a guide during hunting season and it's just temporary. I still don't know. Any other ideas? Sure. Leave it in the comments. I mean, I could call somebody to find out, but I don't feel, oh Jesus, I don't feel it's all that important. If it's important enough, it'll find its way to me eventually, if I need to know. So if it seems like I'm just wandering around, yes I am. actually kind of fun to be out in the woods just before a storm comes. It's neat to see the weather change. I just want to look at this log to see if I see any footprints. Little tiny footprints all along through here. They look like they might be mice. And I'm not hunting mice. Do that at the house anytime. We've got 3, 4, 5 squirrel nests. There's another blue mark. They're all over the place. All different types of hardwoods too. There's some more. It's all over the woods. Whew. There's another one right there, right in front of me. And another one over there on that cherry. What? Now I'm starting to get curious. I'm seeing so much of it. Yep, there's 2 more. I'm not sure what to say about that. Now I'm really wondering. Boy, hunting has not been working out for me. You know, when I think about how I had to forego it for a while because I had so much schoolwork to do, I kind of wish that hadn't happened, because who knows what I might have been missing. It's a shame. It's a shame what happens to public land. Well, somebody moved my rock. I used to have a nice big thick flat rock there to sit on, and this was my little screen for spring turkey that looked out into these woods here. And this rock was here back in September, so that means it's been moved since. It wasn't that long ago. It came from that stone wall over there. But just shows you how public land, you know, you can't expect anything to be sacred, but you wouldn't think that, you know, an obscure rock that's probably been covered by leaves over the years, because I haven't been to this spot in about 2 years, would be left alone, but it's not. Nothing is left untouched, and everything is picked clean. Ah, boy. I need some private hunting land. Maybe it's in my future. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put another flat rock up there. It's not the rock that I would use, but that's basically what it looked like. And you would... I tell you what, man. You know, there's a lot of seats like this all over these woods. Along these hedgerows, there's lots of seats, and they've been around for a long time. There's a couple of really good ones way off, about half a mile from here, up along a stone wall that people have built over the years. And just the fact that there's people in here who feel they have to change it, that's not a good crowd. You don't want a crowd like that, because they're too nosy and they're too fussy. You know what? If somebody took the time to put a seat in, something that's comfortable, makes hunting a little easier, you leave it and you use it. You respect it. You don't tear everything down or pick it up and throw it off into the woods, which is what I suspect happened. I hate to say it, but I've had my fill of public land. Well, here's a good sign right here. Somebody's been digging. Looks very much like squirrel behavior. Alright, well, I have to say, I'm just going to wrap this up because nothing's happening. I got out here early, and it's the same thing. This is, what, my 6th time out? 5 for late last year, and this is the first one for 2025. And there just isn't a thing going on. Period. Nothing. I mean, it doesn't matter how far you walk either. You go 2 miles in, half a mile in. It's just not happening, you know. So, that's it for today. Thanks for joining me, folks. And I'm just going to chalk these up to walks in the woods. And that's about it. Okay. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.